Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of an anthology horror comedy film from 2014 featuring segments directed by the director who made the documentary film Room 237, the guy who played Howard Moon, segment even directed by the guy who played Howard Moon in The Mighty Boosh, the director of Inside, the director of Manboard, the director of Spliced, the director of Idiots and Angels, the director of Stage Fright, the musical slasher film, and the Solska sisters even directed a segment together. And they're the directors of Dead Hooker in a Trunk and American Mary. And apparently even the director of Suicide Club was connected to the film at one time, but he apparently dropped out at the last minute, which is very, very sad. I would have liked to see what he brought to the table. I mean, he directed Suicide Club. And tonight's movie is ABCs of Death 2. Now, you guys know I love the first ABCs of Death. I absolutely adored that film. Mainly because, and I feel like I'm one of the only people that really liked the entire film, mainly because kind of I kind of knew what to expect going in. You know, I knew there were going to be segments that were weird. I knew there were going to be segments that were ridiculous and gory and crazy. So yeah, let's check this one out. I've been waiting for almost 2 years to see this one. I've been waiting, yeah, probably about two. I want to say almost 2 years to see this one. So I think you guys know the plot by now. It's a 26 chapter anthology film that showcases death in all of its beautiful and brutal glory and beautiful and like really vicious, crazy, brutal glory. Let's check it out, shall we? Well, that was yeah. So there's not going to be a rundown for this one. Really, I'm just going to tell you which segments are good, bad, and okay. And yeah. Also, I will say the opening credits for this film are way better than the opening credits in the first one. So starting off with the good segments. A, and I gave short summaries or short hints of what they're about. A, an assassin's job doesn't go quite as planned. B, a TV show gets cut from the air. C, a kangaroo court has a mistrial. D, honestly, I didn't know what to say for this one. I said it's Where the Dead Goes to Die meets the works of Lee Hardcastle, who did T is for Toilet in the first ABCs of Death. G, really surprising, funny, and weird. H, like getting to first base times a million. I is a combination of Dead Girl and Evil Dead. J is a pro-gay, anti-religious segment, and it's really good. M, at first it's bad, but once you get to the end, it just becomes really, really good. N, the dangers of trick-or-treating. O, a cool look at the zombie genre. Zombies are putting humans on trial. Q, why you shouldn't take tests that are randomly offered to you by people in kiosks. R, a game of chance. S, a home invasion. T, which is the Solska Sister segment, a porn shoot gone horribly wrong. U, what Apple will basically do to the world. W, it's like Manboard, but with fantasy elements. X, why you don't give your kid a musical instrument. Y, easily the weirdest and funniest segment. Also, I think it's the only Japanese segment. Z, it reminds me of the ending to Takashi Miike's Gozu. Alright, the bad segments. There are actually only 2 bad segments in this movie, which is surprising considering in the first one I could list like 3 or 4 segments that aren't that good. Um, Bad segments. K, not really that interesting or impressive. It's not, you know, doesn't really have much going for it. It's a little boring. I mean, it's not that it's boring or slow. I mean, if there was a little more explanation to it, um, basically K in this one is the equivalent to M from the first one, which was probably the worst segment in the first one. P, it's really an annoying, uninteresting, and stupid look horror twist on like classic 1930s kind of comedy. Um, and the segment is literally called P is for scary. I'm not joking, that's the title. That's a bit ridiculous. The OK segments. E is for equilibrium. Basically, it's just people on an island, stranded on an island. I mean, it isn't that interesting or funny until the ending, and then I kind of liked it, but I still have to put it on the OK list. F. It's just a really like a ironic kind of story. It's nothing too fantastic. It's a pretty good segment for what it is. L. It's really this one's really hard to describe. It's like a 50s monster movie with really bad like computer animated blood and gore effects. And V. Basically a hooker's revenge. All right. So this one it isn't as weird or as fun as the first one. It's more logical, I guess. Um, there's only one segment from Japan, and it's really more for an open audience. Like the first one was way too weird and crazy and violent and just all over the place. And there was like 3 or 4 Japanese segments in the film. It doesn't really it isn't really for everybody. I mean, even some of the most hardened horror fans were like, "Yeah, this movie is a bit too weird." But I think that's really why I liked the first one. I really gave the first one a very high rating. I gave it a 10 out of 10. I really liked it for what it was. The first one was very gross, crazy, weird, and really gory. This one isn't as gory as I would have liked it to be, but it's still a really good movie. Um, the acting is really all over the place in this one. There's some good acting, there's some bad acting. Same with the writing, music, and the effects are all around pretty good. Uh, on the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like the Corpse Grinders, and 10 being something like Brain Dead. ABCs of Death 2 is probably about a 7. It's, I mean, there's some pretty decently gory segments, but I'd probably have to say like the goriest segments are the last 2, which are probably 2 of my favorite from the movie. So in conclusion, if you liked the first one, I'd suggest you give it a watch. If you didn't like the first one, I suggest you give this one a watch, because this one, according to a lot of people that didn't like the first one, they think that this one is a big improvement on the first film. And I mean, in a sense that it's more for everybody. People can actually watch it and won't get super weirded out. I guess it's better. In conclusion, the best segments consist of A, C, D, I, J, N, O, Q, S, T, U, W, X, Y, Z. Those are probably the best segments out of this film. Anyway, guys, I'm BiscuitBoo69. The links to the Twitter, Facebook, all that are in the description below, and Rotten Cotton t-shirts, where I buy my horror film t-shirts, like this Demons t-shirt. They're all in the description below. I want you guys can check them out. I'm signing off. Peace.